Hello students, a very good morning to you. Let's continue a revision of chapter 2, that is of class 11, biological classification. In my last class, I have told you or give you about the introduction of different type of classification system, in which we know about two kingdom classification system, then five kingdom classification system, and we know that in how five kingdom classification system different species are categorized under different divisions. So we will today study about the first kingdom of classification, that is kingdom Monera. This kingdom includes all the prokaryotic bacteria. All the prokaryotic bacteria. When you heard about bacteria, then one thing is come in your mind that bacteria are always harmful to us. But this is not always true. Many of the bacteria are helpful for us. So in this topic, we will know about how bacteria complete their life cycle, means how they reproduce, what are their different type of uses, where they live, what is their mode of nutrition, etc. etc. So students, as I have told you here, in this kingdom, means in kingdom Monera, all the prokaryotic bacteria are placed. So on the basis of their shape and size, all bacteria are divided into 4 categories. Clear? And these bacteria are normally bacilli, then your cocci, then spirilla and vibrio. These are the different type of bacteria which are classified into 4 categories on the basis of their shape and size. The bacilli bacteria is look like this. This is rod shaped bacteria. So they are called as bacilli, and its singular is called as bacillus. Cocci is its singular is coccus, and it is circular in shape. That's why it is called as cocci. Means it looks like this. This is the shape of cocci. Then your spirilla. Spirilla is look like this. Is how spirilla looks. This is spirilla, whose singular is spirillum. And vibrio is, this is comma shaped structure like this. They are the different structures of bacteria. Here I have told you 4 different type of bacteria that we found, and they are of different shape and size. And on the basis of these bacteria, they are on the basis of their photosynthesis, again they are divided into 3 types. On the basis of their synthesizing food, they are of major 3 types. On the basis of shape, they are divided as 4 types, and on the basis of synthesizing food, they are divided into 3 types. One is Archaebacteria, Eubacteria and Cyanobacteria. Archaebacteria, then your Eubacteria and Cyanobacteria. So students, we will know about these bacteria, what is their function and where do they found, how they are named so. As we know that Archaebacteria means we can name them as false bacteria. False bacteria, they are true bacteria. Why they are called as false bacteria? Means they have the ability to survive in any condition, mean any extreme condition, drastic condition. Some of them may be live in extremely salty condition also. It means they are thermophytic, hydrophiles, or we can say as halophiles. That's why some of them are also live inside the ruminant's gut. That's why they are named as Archaebacteria or false bacteria. Why they are named so? Because they can live in drastic conditions. So we are called as them as Archaebacteria. Clear students? And again they are, like I have told you, hydrophiles, thermoacidophiles, halophiles. Halophiles means they are again halophiles. Halophiles means who live in salty condition. Means there are such bacteria who can live in the oceans and seas, even the condition is very salty, the water is very salty, still they able to survive in those conditions. Then your after halophiles, thermoacidophiles, means they can live in extreme hot conditions. That's why they are divided as halophiles and thermoacidophiles. Clear, students? And as I have told you, some of them can also live inside the rumen's gut. That's why they are called as methanogens. Why they are called as methanogens? As we know, the ruminants take cellulosic food. For digestion of cellulose, they are present inside the gut of the ruminants, means those who take on cellulosic food, as well as during the digestion of cellulose, they produce methane gas, due to which they are named as methanogens. And here I have told you thermoacidophiles, means they can live in hot conditions. So here I have told you about archaebacteria, that they are of three types, again halophiles, thermoacidophiles and methanogens. Next is your true bacteria or eubacteria. Why they are called as eubacteria or true bacteria? Because they have presence of some chlorophyll pigments, due to which they are able to synthesize their food. That's why they are called so. Means actually the four type of bacteria are placed under this eubacteria. Clear, students? These four type of bacteria are placed under this eubacteria, means bacilli, then your coccus, spirillum and vibrio. There may be some of them may be hydrophytes, means they can live in water, and their most common nature is they all are heterotrophs, means they are heterotrophs. You know about heterotrophs. Heterotrophs means they can't synthesize their food. That's why they are called as heterotrophs. They depend on other plants and animals for their food. Means they may be saprophytic, may be parasitic, means they may be cause some disease to human beings, other animals and plants. That's why they are called as heterotrophs. Some of the bacteria you know about TB, tuberculosis. You know about diphtheria. They are the bacterial disease, due to which why they are this disease caused. This disease are caused due to eubacteria, and they are also found in filamentous form, and some of them also have a rigid cell wall. As we know that the bacterial cell wall is rigid, due to which its decomposition will not occur easily. That's why we can say that they have a rigid cell wall, and they may be live in any habitat. So typhoid, tetanus, diphtheria, TB, these diseases are caused due to bacteria. Typhoid, you know about typhoid, then your diphtheria, then TB, which is called as tuberculosis, then tetanus. These diseases are caused to human beings due to the bacteria. And as I have told you, many of the bacteria are helpful to us. Suppose lactic acid bacteria, which is called lactobacillus bacteria, it converts milk into curd. That's why it is beneficial for us. Nowadays, bacteria are also used by human beings to increase their immunity. As some bacteria increase our immunity, means they produce the antibodies which fights against the disease causing microorganisms. So all of them are not harmful. Some of them are also helpful. So this is all about your eubacteria. Next comes to cyanobacteria. Why they are called as cyanobacteria? Actually, they fix atmospheric nitrogen. Some of the examples are who fix atmospheric nitrogen are Nostoc, Anabaena, Azospirillum, Azotobacter as come under cyanobacteria. Some of them also pollute the water bodies. You can see some green colored substances are found on the surface of water. They are the algal blooms. Actually, they are not algal blooms. They are come under cyanobacteria, and they cause the water pollution. They are also responsible for causing many water pollution as well as some plant disease also. And again, they have different type of pigments, chlorophyll pigments. As I have told you, some of them are photosynthetic, some of them are chemosynthetic, some of them are autotrophs. Those who are autotrophs, they are again divided into chemosynthetic and photosynthetic. Chemosynthetic means those bacteria who uses chemicals for synthesizing their food, and photosynthetic means those who uses sunlight for their synthesizing food are called as photosynthetic. So how next is how they fix atmospheric nitrogen. As we know that some bacteria are looks like, you can see some bacteria are looks like this. They form heterocyst around it. They look like this. Inside which they form the heterocyst. Here is the mucilaginous covering, and they form heterocyst. Inside the heterocyst, this is heterocyst and this is the mucilaginous coat, or you can say covering. This is mucilaginous coat or covering, inside which the atmospheric nitrogen is fixed and that is taken by the plant. This is atmospheric nitrogen. Atmospheric. So you can write the group of cyanobacteria in which Nostoc, Anabaena, Azotobacter, Azospirillum, all these bacteria come. They fix the atmospheric nitrogen inside the heterocyst. Means this is the bacteria, they form heterocyst, means when they require to form the cyst, they form. That's why they are called as heterocyst. And it is covered by a mucilaginous covering. Mucilaginous means which can be easily change their shape, means they are sticky and stretchable structure like your jellies. That's why they are called as mucilaginous coat. By the help of mucilaginous coat, they fix atmospheric nitrogen, and that atmospheric nitrogen is again taken by the plants for synthesizing protein. As we know, protein, for synthesizing protein, nitrogen is an important element. That's why here some bacteria which we are studying now about cyanobacteria, they fix the atmospheric nitrogen. Clear students? I think you clear. So one of the bacteria which come under cyanobacteria is your Spirulina, which is also called as single cell protein. Nowadays, this is most widely used by human beings for fulfilling the protein requirement. That's why it is called as single cell protein, or we can say example of single cell protein is Spirulina. Remember students, this may come in your NEET exams. What is Spirulina called? Spirulina is called as single cell protein as it have high rich in protein. They are used by the space travelers as food, and also it is used for the protein requirement in a less cost. That's why it has many important in food. And some of them are used as biofertilizers, means the group of bacteria which we are studying now, cyanobacteria, they are used as biofertilizers. Biofertilizers means, as we know nowadays, to increase our food need, the cultivated land is so less. That's why we need some modern techniques to increase the food demand or food productivity. That's why as we are using the chemical fertilizers, it will not only pollutes the soil as well as pollutes the water bodies and kills the beneficial microorganisms present in that area. So nowadays science has developed so much, due to agricultural science is developed so much. That's why cyanobacteria is used as, like I have told you about Azospirillum and Azotobacter. Azospirillum and Azotobacter. Azotobacter. They are used as biofertilizers nowadays in the crop fields to increase the productivity. Maximum they are used in the paddy fields. Paddy fields means in the rice crop, the majority nowadays used is Azospirillum and Azotobacter, which come under cyanobacteria. So students, here we will study about Archaebacteria, then your Eubacteria and Cyanobacteria. Next kingdom, let's start. That is your kingdom Protista. But before it, I want to tell you something about Mycoplasma. You know about Mycoplasma. Mycoplasma is the smallest living organism which lacks nuclear membrane, but still it is very harmful to human beings as well as for plants. So Mycoplasma is the most harmful disease causing organism that is causes disease in plants, humans and other organisms. Means it can survive in a very drastic condition, means without oxygen, without any suitable condition. This mycoplasma can survive and they reproduce by means of binary fission. This is the diagram of mycoplasma. Mycoplasma. So simply you can write about mycoplasma. Mycoplasma is the smallest prokaryotic bacteria till now. They lack cell wall and cell membrane, but still it is very harmful to plants, animals and human beings as it causes many diseases to human beings. Clear, students? So this is all about your kingdom Monera. Next we will study about kingdom Protista. So let's see what is kingdom Protista and which organisms are placed under kingdom Protista. So let's see. As we know that kingdom Monera acquires all the bacteria, means all the bacteria are placed under kingdom Monera. Here the species, they are placed under Protista and shows both the characters of plants as well as animals. Means here the organisms placed under kingdom Protista has resemblance both with plants and animals. So here the kingdom Protista has many divisions like your chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, then your dinoflagellates, then your slime molds, chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, then your slime molds, euglenoids, slime molds, etc. These are come under kingdom Protista. Also protozoa is considered under this kingdom. So students, Protista is the kingdom in which those organisms are placed who resembles or have the similarities with both plants and animals, and they are again categorized into 4 major phylums or divisions. We can say they are as chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime molds and protozoa. First we will study about chrysophytes. Chrysophytes are completely marine. The species of chrysophytes are completely marine, means they are live in marine water, means in aquatic medium or in the seas or oceans. That's why they are called as chrysophytes. They are arranged in such a way that they look like one of the example of chrysophytes is your diatoms. Let's take example that is called as diatoms. They are arranged like a soap case. You have seen soap case in which soap is placed. One is overlap another that exactly looks like the soap case, and they divide so rapidly that in past you know that the earth was completely covered by these diatoms. That's why the earth is that time called as the diatomaceous earth. If question will come, why the earth is called diatomaceous, then you can write that they are called as diatomaceous as they are reproductive capacity is so high. That's why they completely covers the aquatic medium and field, and their cell wall is made up of silica, which is indestructible, and indestructible means it can't be destroyed. That's why, or neither degraded. So they remains for years and years, means long years, millions of years without decomposing. Again, they are also called as the chief producers of ocean. Why they are called as chief producers of ocean? As we know that there are different type of algae are found in the oceans, but only the algae who have the brown pigment or red pigment only can able to synthesize their food when they are present on the depth of the ocean. That's why, as green algae can't trap green light, as you know that same charges repel and opposite charges attract. same pigments repel and opposite pigments attract. So if green color algae is found on the depth of the ocean, then green light can't be trapped by them. But if brown or red color algae is found on the depth or at the bottom of the sea, then they are able to trap green light and synthesize food. So they are present on the bottom of the sea and trap green light and synthesize their food. That's why they are called as the chief producers of ocean. Means rest of the organisms who found in the aquatic medium uses the diatoms as their food. That's why they are called as chief producers of ocean. This is not enough their work. They are also used for polishing and they are used also for filtering the syrups. They being gritty in nature, they are used in the filters. In past, nowadays we are in modern society, so we are using arrows and other things. But before it, in a long time ago, means before 25 years, since now available also, they are used for filtration. Clear, students? And they are also used as used in the formation of syrups. That's why they are called as the filtration substance. So students, this is about your chrysophytes. You can write about chrysophytes brief. Suppose question will come. Write a brief note on chrysophyte, then you will able to write about chrysophytes, that how they are helpful to us, where they found, what is their importance. Clear, students? Next we will study about dinoflagellates. Why they are called as dinoflagellates? Dino means two, flagellates means flagella. Those organisms who have two flagella are called as dinoflagellates. Clear? Their cell wall is made up of cellulose. Some of them are unicellular, means a species of dinoflagellate unicellular. Some of them are unicellular and some of them are called as unicellular. Clear, students? Why they are called as unicellular? As their cell is single, their body is made up of single cell, so they are called as unicellular. And as I have told you that their cell wall is made up of cellulosic substance, means their cell wall is made up of cellulosic substance. Here I want to give you one example that dinoflagellates. One example is your goniolox. Goniolox is so rapidly divides and it is also red color. They rapidly divides that makes the tide, means makes the sea looks red. The red tides you see in the ocean is due to the rapid division of these dinoflagellate, means goniolox. Goniolox, which makes the tide red, or red tide is due to goniolox. Clear, students? This also, during its division, it also secretes some poisons which kills many marine or many aquatic organisms, including fish. So that toxin is responsible for the mortality of the fish. Clear, students? And the flagella, as I have told you, one flagella is present longitudinally and one flagella present transversely, means like this. The flagella are present like this and the flagella help them in swimming in the water. Next is your euglenoids. In euglenoids, example is euglena. Here the example is euglena. This species have a basic differentiating feature to when compared to other species, means it has chlorophyll pigment which traps sunlight and synthesizes food. But during the absence of sunlight, it acts as parasite, means it shows both the nature, one autotrophic and another parasitic. So when it is autotrophic, when sunlight is available, as it has green colored pigment is present, so it traps sunlight and synthesizes food. And when sunlight is not available at the night, then it traps or it sticks to other living organism and takes its nutrition. That's why they are called as euglenoids, and the best example is your euglena. Clear, students? And the photosynthetic pigment that found in euglena is resembles with the photosynthetic pigment of higher plants like your chlorophyll A. In Euglena, the photosynthetic pigment is chlorophyll A. Next is your slime molds. They are grown on the dead and decaying substances or the twigs of leaves, means when the leaves get degraded, on the twigs they grow as aggregate and forms spores. Like your rhizopus you have studied in class 10th, they produce spores, and these spores are dispersed, and through dispersion they are grows as new organisms. That's why they are considered under slime molds. Clear, students? And they can grow on the unfavorable condition. As I have told you, they are saprotrophs. So saprotrophs do not need any suitable condition. They can grow anywhere. Next is your protozoa. Protozoa is, again, protozoa means first animal on earth. It is said that protozoans are the first animals on earth, and they have a special structure. Means they are again divided into 4 categories. One is your sporozoans, then your amoeboid protozoans, clear, then ciliated protozoans and flagellated protozoans. Sporozoans, amoeboid protozoans, ciliated protozoans and flagellated protozoans. So what are their functions? They are completely heterotrophs and parasites. Why they are heterotrophs? As I have told you, the kingdom Protista we are studying now includes all the organisms who shows both the characteristic feature of plants and animals. So here all the organisms, all the divisions we have studied, either it shows the characters of animals or either it shows the characters of plants like your euglenoids and dinoflagellates and chrysophytes. So here protozoa have 4 different type of species: sporozoan protozoa, amoeboid protozoa, ciliated protozoa and flagellated protozoa. So sporozoans are the protozoans who are parasitic, and their infectious form is called as sporozoites. Through sporozoites it infects human beings and it causes malaria to human beings, and it has different type of species like malaria, Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium falciparum and Plasmodium malaria. Then your amoeboid protozoa, in which Entamoeba histolytica comes, and Entamoeba histolytica causes amoebic dysentery in human beings. Next is ciliated protozoa, in which Paramecium is come. You know about Paramecium. It looks like your slipper. It has many cilia for movement in water, and they also cause some disease. They also reproduce through binary fission. Next is your flagellated protozoa, means these protozoa which are called as flagellated protozoa, in which you know about sleeping sickness, trypanosoma come under this. This causes the disease sleeping sickness. So students, this is all about your kingdom Protista. In our next class we will study about kingdom Fungi.